Nifkar, why you getting that? Okay. It's Nation of Yashur. I'm sorry, Salakia. It's in the it's spelled out in the paleo, so it's Yasharal. Nation of Yasharal. So I'm on live. I'm on line live now. Okay. All right. Baruch Haba, Mishpaka, Shabbat Shalom. This is More Yezaziyahu, Ben Yahweh Ben Yisrael, coming to you once again live on YouTube. We are also on freeconferencecall.com as well. Okay. Okay. All right. Can you hear me better now?
I think that, yeah.
There you go.
There you go. Yeah. Keep the mic right there.
All right. Make sure my phone is charged. I should blow the shofar tonight, huh? Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. All right. Once again, I just want to first and foremost give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yah, who has anointed me to be a more for His people, to be a righteous shepherd for the nation of Yasharal, under the authority of one Yah, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, and the nation of Israel. Zakain Rosh Prince, all the Zakanim, all the Marim, Ima Zamiria. Want to give all praise, honor, and glory for those who come before us, that the Most High has used in a righteous manner. Thanking everybody for this opportunity to tune in on this Shabbat Yom. At the start of the Shabbat, as we get ready to go through a segment of Hebrew biblical fundamentals. We're going to do a quick review of what we did last week. So my petition is that you all had an opportunity to, one, learn something. All right. In all thy getting, get understanding. So as we learn, I'm praying that we're understanding, because it's no good just to learn something and not understand what it means. Once again, I am quoting all of the sources that I have learned from, that I continue to learn from, because we don't do any plagiarism. All right. So I want to first, illustrate some of the sources I've used, which is Biblical Hebrew Home Study Edition. I've also used Jeff Benner's Learn to Read Biblical Hebrew. Also use Rosetta Stone, which is doing me some good too. So hallelujah to that. All right, with no further delay, just quick little prayer in Ivryt. Yevarechecha Yahovah Veish Mericha Yair Yahovah Pchanav Elecha Vecho Necha Yisa Yahovah Pchanav Ilecha Veyasem Lecha Shalom. May Yahweh bless you and keep you. Yisrael. May Yahweh make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May Yahweh turn his countenance to you and establish peace for you. Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim. Kodesh Chaya Shamka. Yahuwah Malakwavka Thaba'ara Tazawanka Haya Isha Ba'arataza kawahaya bashamaya. Nathan la nawa lacham kal yawam wasalach nawa. Ha'awabawath nawa. Kasala nawa. Ha'awabawath yanawa. Wala'a thaba'aya nawa banasayawan. Abal hawashai nawa man rai kayala kaha malakwath. Waha Allah waha taparath la iwalayam. Our Father, who art in heaven, holy is your name. Let your kingdom come and let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give to us this day our daily bread and forgive us of our trespasses as we forgive those who've trespassed against us. Allow us not to be led into temptation, but deliver us from the evil within. For thine is your kingdom, for thine is your power, for thine is your glory forever. So that's the ancient paleo Yahweh Tefillot, the prayer of Yahweh, read in Matthew chapter 6, verse 9 through 13. That is the prayer that we will begin to learn tonight at the conclusion of our lesson. So I just wanted to let you all hear it so that you can get familiar with the pronunciation of the words, how it sounds, etc. All right. The first prayer was the priestly blessing. All right. By Aharon. So that is a very powerful one found in Numbers 6:24 through 26. So these are some prayers, and this is kind of how I began to learn our language. There were certain prayers that I wanted to learn because I wanted to know them. And then as I began to study them, I began to pick up the language and some of the words. So from there, I just really took the language serious. After we've come to the knowledge of one, who we are as Hebrew Israelites, Ivrim Yashar Ili, Hebrew Israelite. It's important that we learn our language, learn our culture and our customs. All right. So we're not going to be overly redundant. Some of the scriptures, just for your reference. Last week we went over Bereshit, which is Genesis 1:1. In the beginning, Elohim created the heavens and the earth. We began to see that Yah spoke. All right. Bereshit 1, chapter 1, verse 6. We see Elohim said. All right. Amar, to speak. The word Amar, to speak, is what he said. So we know that he audibly speaks to us, right? First, he spoke to us, our forefathers, the God of our fathers, Abraham, Isaac, and Yaakov. He spoke to the prophets, all right? And that produced our holy manuscript that we have today, which is the heritage and culture of the biblical Hebrews, all right? We also went through Bereshit 11:1, which said the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. All right. So then we look to see what that language and what that speech was. And we wind up going to Yovelim, or Jubilees, chapter 12, 25 through 27. And it read that, and Yahweh said, paraphrase, Yahweh said, open up his ears and his mouth, that I may speak with him in the language of creation, which is Ivryt. And that our forefather Abraham studied the language of Ivryt, the tongue of Yah, for the 6 rainy months. All right. So let's get down to the business. We're going to do, first and foremost, let's go back through our Hebrew Aleph Beit. All right. So I hope that all those who are on freeconferencecall.com can hear me okay. If you can, just, say hallelujah. All right. I'm not muted. So if you can hear me, say hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Kang, to the Rabbah.
Hallelujah.
Now, can everybody, hallelujah. Can everyone see me online? Can you see the board okay? All right, good. We got a little feedback going. I'm echoing, but that's fine. All right, so we're going to do a quick review. All right, let's last week, all right, we went through the first 7 Aleph Beit letters. All right. So remember, Hebrew is written and read from right to left. So the first one, and this is the modern script, post-exilic script. All right. As I said last week, before we move into the paleo, before we move into the most ancient scripts, before we move into the most early Semitic script, we need to begin to first understand how it looks and how it is written and how it is sounded from the Sephardic tongue spoken today of the language in the modern post-exilic script. One, because as we progress, right? And I digress for a moment. So hopefully you see me online. All right, as we progress, right here, I have an all Hebrew Tanakh. All right. I am working on reading this, all right, to understand the thought, the culture, and the true Hebraic concept of the script of our forefathers. With all script, whether it be NIV, Greek translation, whatever, doesn't matter. All translations are the translator's interpretation of this Hebraic script. So to get the original thought of our forefathers and foremothers, we need to read and understand this, how it is written, in the syntax structure it is written, so we can understand the thought which was given by inspiration of the Ruach HaKodesh, spoken on high by the Most High Yah. All right? Same thing in the Brit Hadasha, the so-called New Testament, right? Hebrew. All right, so all that to say this, you're not going to find a paleo script. Well, you might, but we still need to learn this so that when we do find that paleo script or the earliest Semitic form of our language, we can understand it. We can understand the Aleph Beit characters, formulating words, creating sentences. This way we can actually begin to speak, read, and understand our language. All right, so right from right to left, we first learned about the Aleph, right? We know that the Aleph was a pictograph of a ox head, all right? Some of the symbolic representations of that was ox, strength, leader, all right? It's also been associated with Adonai, Yahweh. Then we learned, right? Then we learned the next Aleph Beit character was the Bet, right? Bet. So now, really quickly, in the ancient form, the Aleph would as Ah, right? Ah. Or Al, some sources say. Bet in the ancient form would have been pronounced as Ba, right? Now, what we also learned is in the modern script, because of the Nakudotes, which is the vowel points that were created centuries, some years after the original scripts were discovered. So those in the powers that be decided to add Nakudotes, all right, to help emphasize vowel points because our Aleph Bet is made up of 22 consonants. However, in certain letters, you will see a dot in the middle of the letter. The dot is called a dagesh, which just means dot. So for Bet, if there's a dagesh in the middle, we learn that it is sounded as the B sound, like ba. If there is no dagesh in the middle, we learn that it is pronounced as vet or va. The third Aleph Bet character was the gimel. In the most ancient, it'd be pronounced gam or gal or ga. All right. Now, the association with the letter or the word Gamal or Gal is a camel or a camel's foot. All right. Well, it's a foot, right? It also has a symbolic representation of a camel, something lifted up, elevation, um, representing, to walk, path, travel, etc. All right. Gimel, Gimel, Gam, Gal. The fourth Aleph Beit character, Arba, mind you, let me backtrack. Each Aleph Bet character has a symbolic number attached to it. All right. So this is Achad, 1, Stein, 2, Shalosh, 3, Arba, 4. All right. That is the Dalet. This pictograph form of the Dalet is the pictograph of a door. All right. Pictograph of a door. Like a tent door, not a traditional, open and close swing door. It doesn't look like that. It looks like a straight line with a little box under it, right? So the symbolic representation of this Aleph Bet character is a door, a path, a way of life, movement back and forth, in and out, all right? Our Hamashiach, our Messiah, said, I am the way. He is the door. You go through him to get back into the house of Yah. You can't, he said, if one comes essentially through the back door, he's a thief and a robber. So if you're not going through the front door to get to the Most High Yah, if you're not going through Yahushua HaMashiach, then you trying to creep through the back door, and in modern day you might get shot. So the next, or the fifth Aleph Beit character is the Hey. All right. So we got Chad, Stein, Shalosh, Arba, Chamesh. All right, Chamesh. That is the fifth Aleph Beit character. It is Hey or Ha in the ancient. It's a pictograph with a man with his arms raised. Okay, the man with his arms raised, it means to behold, to show, to reveal by pointing something out. All right, make sure y'all can still see that. Sorry, Slicker. All right, so that's the Hey. Now the sixth Aleph Beit character is Sheish. Sheish. All right. And this, the name is in the early Semitic scripts was the Wa. Wa. In your modern translations today, it will be called Va. Okay. All right. The pictograph of the Va or the Wa is a nail or a tent peg or a hook, representing something that's being joined together. All right. Something making secure, becoming bound. We are nomadic people by culture. Our forefathers, the God of our fathers, allowed our forefathers to travel, right? We went from wilderness to wilderness. We were sojourners. We dwelled in tents, sukkahs, booths. All right. So we needed that to secure our sukkah, all right, from the elements. So that is the symbolic representation of the Wa or the Va, how it's pronounced today. The seventh Aleph Beit character here is the Zion. Zion, Zain. The symbolic representation of the number is 1. It means Sheva. So it is your Sheva. It's the seventh Aleph Beit character. All right. So the Zion was like a matop plow. It was also used as a sword, as an axe, as a weapon, to cut or to pierce. In the agricultural sense, because our people are agricultural by nature, it was used to basically till the ground, so that we can plant seed and crops and corn and harvest, sow and reap, seed time, harvest. All right. So that is the symbolic representation of that. So that was the first 7 that we went over. All right. So now we're going to conclude the rest of our Aleph Beit, because one, that's why our language is so pure, is because the foundation of this language is the Aleph Beit. All right. That is the foundation, because each Aleph Beit character has a symbolic pictograph meaning associated with it. We can always understand the concrete thought behind any words by looking at the individual letters and how they're put together. Okay? So let me take a tactical pause. I know this is redundant for many, even those who may view this later, but we're only in lesson 2. So we want to finish our Aleph Beit, finish the numerical values that go with each character, finish the symbolic pictograph meanings behind each character. This way we can begin to have a deeper understanding when it comes to script from the Most High Yah, right? And then when it comes to just learning the language in general, just for conversational purposes, whether it be modern, post-exilic, Sephardic spoken Ivryt, or whether it be, the Phoenician Paleo ancient tongue of Ivryt. All right. But we want to know both, right? We got to know both. Tactfully, we need to move around when we go to sacred visitations and things of that nature, right? So we're going to move to the 8th Aleph Beit character. All right. The 8th Aleph Beit character, the numerical value associated with that is called Shmoneh. Shmoneh. That's 8. Is how I remembered it. I was like, Shmoneh sounds like money. So Shmoneh. Easy. All right. So the pictograph form of this Aleph Beit character, first the name is Chet, right? This one makes more of a guttural sound. Chet. Chet. If you would like phonetically spell it out, you would see it spelled as like a CH or a KH, right? It represents a fence or a wall that what separates the inner room from the outer room, or the wall of the house from the inside to the elements on the outside. So it has a representation of separation, also meaning to cut off. And another contrasting meaning that it has outside of separation would be protection, right? When we are keeping the commandments of the Most High Yah, when we are believing the testimony of Yahshua, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, we are in the house of Yah. So we're protected by the wall that separates us from the outside world and the contents thereof, because we're in the bosom, we're in the house of the Most High, sheltered and protected by the wall. All right, so that's the symbolic representation of that Aleph Beit character. The 9th Aleph Beit character is the Tet. All right, Tet. The name of the numerical value is Tesha. Tesha. Right, that is the Tet. 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 All right. So now the Tet, its pictograph form is like a basket. All right, little circle with maybe an X on the inside, representing a basket, something that surrounds. There's contents in the basket. There's twisting of the basket. So it represents like a twisting or a coiling. Some also have taken it to have a symbolic meaning of a snake. All right. Now, I haven't learned enough about our culture yet to understand why we have the symbolic representation of a snake. However, that is going to be a further study just to get a better understanding. But that's some of the symbolic representations of the Tet, with the numerical value of Shmoneh, 9. The 10th Aleph Beit character is the Yod. Some pronounce it Yud, Yad, Yad. Um, Nonetheless, the Yod, all right, the numerical value for the Yod, which is 10, is Eser. Eser. So Eser means 10 in Ivryt. Okay? So the pictograph form of this Aleph Beit character is the pictograph of a man with his arm. So the arm and the hand of a man, right? So the symbolic meanings behind this Aleph Beit character is a hand closed or closing upon. It also means to work. It also means finished. All the functions of a hand. So anything dealing with the functions of a hand is what the symbolic representation means. So we worked with our hands agriculturally, right? A rofe, a doctor, heals with his hands. We use our hands to do many things. So all the functions of working with of the hand, to do, finished, a deed, that is what the symbolic representation of that Aleph Beit character means. So now let's just think for a second. All right. The biggest thing that we as a people have begun to become victim to is we stop thinking. All right. We fall in line with this group thinking mentality of society, the way society goes. We follow the current affairs of the time. So that means those affairs can be as swift as a current and take me anywhere. So now what we need to understand is this: as we begin to learn these foundational principles, this is the foundation that you build your house on to understand the language. For scripture purposes, all right, to get a better understanding of the oracles, the words of the Most High Yah that He entrusted to the nation of Yisrael, Yasharal, to do the work on His behalf, we must understand the symbolic understanding of the each Aleph Bet character, so that we can properly shepherd His people by understanding what He was trying to explain to us in a concrete thought. We do not think abstractly. It's one of the things we touched on last week. Hebrew thinks concretely. Things that we express are in a functional manner, right? We don't express things based on appearance, and we don't think based on abstract thoughts. We think in a concrete manner, all right? We make things tangible, right? I can taste what honey tastes like. So when scripture says, the word is as sweet as honey to the palate, I know what honey tastes like. It tastes sweet. So that's a concrete thought. So Yahweh's word, His commandments are sweet to the mouth, sweet to the taste. Those are concrete thinking type of thoughts. So as we understand this language, we can begin to understand the thoughts correctly. All right. So without any further ado, let's move on to the next Aleph Beit character. All right. So the last one was the Yod. Ted Yod. Kaf. Pronounced with a K sound. And as you'll notice again, you see another dagesh, a dot in the middle, which will give it the K sound pronunciation, ka. Without the dagesh, all right? Without it, you get haf, another guttural sound like hit, haf, right? Like another CH type of sound. So the numerical value for this, we move from 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're moving into the double digits, right? We're moving into 20. So the numerical value of kaf is 20. And it is pronounced esrim, esrim, 20, esrim. If you want to spell that, that would be Ayin, Shin, Resh, Yod, Mem, Sofit. As we learned about some Sofits last week. Sofit simply means final letter, right? There is 5 Sofits. Mem being one of them, Kaf, Sofit being another. All right? So let's get an understanding of what this pictograph form means. So the Kaf was a pictograph form of an open hand, like the palm of an hand, open hand. So the palm of a hand was open, all right? It was like a wind. It was an allowing, right? It's also a covering because you can cover something with the palm of your hand, right? To open your hand meant you could give something, right? So like Yah opened his hand in Baruch, the nation of Israel, in the world for that matter, because we know Baruch is a bet resh kaf. So Yah filled the house bet with the resh, head of grain, by his open hand, kaf. Right? So he can give by the opening up his hand. He can open up the windows of heaven to pour down rain for our crops, and he can bless us that way. He opens his hands to do things. All right. So it also has the concept of the power to suppress or the power to lift up. All right. So that is the kaf, or without the dagesh, chaf. Chaf. Kaf, chaf. The next pictograph symbol is a lamed. All right. A lot of us are familiar with the lamed or the lam. It is the pictograph of a shepherd's staff. The numerical value of the lamed is 30. Now we start moving to like increments of 10. So as rim, the kaf was 20. Lamed is shloshim, 30. Shloshim, 30. So you got to remember, shalosh, achad, shtain, shalosh was 3. So shloshim gives it the 30, right? So the pictograph, like I said, was a shepherd's staff. It meant a staff, cattle, goad, rod. It meant to also control, as you would guide and control the sheep of your pasture in a certain direction. Right? It meant forward. It meant go. It meant I'm moving you towards something. The lamed also had the representation of a shepherd that teaches. You know, the authority of the staff. You teach. You yield the scepter to learn. So these are some of the concrete understandings behind the shepherd's staff. So always remember, anytime we're learning our aleph bet, we don't want to just learn the letters and the meaning, which is essentially foundational. We want to put ourselves in the Hebraic culture as well to understand how it was applied to us as a people. All right. So that is the lamed. So tactical pause. I know I've been going for about a good 15 minutes. Is everybody all right? Anybody have any questions? Anybody would like anything to contribute? Like I stated last week, another disclaimer, I am not a Ivryt scholar yet. I am a brother. Aniaki le Yashara. Right? I'm a brother of Israel. I'm learning the language as I've been awakened by the Most High to our culture, our identity, right? And our language. His language that he entrusted to us, like his word. So I'm helping to restore his language by studying it. We always say, if I got a shovel and you got a shovel, we're going to get the work done twice as fast, right? And we can bounce things off each other. Rather, if one person does it on their own. One man does not build a nation, right? One man does. uncover or reveal the language of the Most High and help restore it to a pure tongue. I'm a worker. I am here to help guide us back to the old ancient path, to the prescribed way of the Most High. All right. So anybody got any questions on conference call? I don't know if I can see anything in the chat. If you want to type something in the chat on YouTube, you're more than welcome to. But conference call, family, anything?
No.
Is this edifying?
No. Dang.
All right.
Very.
Hallelujah. Okay, so let's move on. All right, so now we're going to get into the 13th Aleph Beit character, which is the Mem. Mem. All right. Its numerical value is 40. All right. So it has the numerical representation of 40. How you would say that in Ivryt is Arba'in. Arba'in. Arba is 4. Arba'in is 40. 40. Like a 40. 40-yard dash. I ran a lot of those in football. Some great, some not so great. All right. So the Mem is a pictograph of water. All right. Water, almost drawn like that. All right. So it meant water. It also had the representation of blood. Mighty, massive. It also has the meaning of many chaos. All right. Like the deep. To come from, a stream of water or a body of water. It also has a representation of life, because we know without water, there is no life. The rain comes down to give the seed, to help the seed grow, which gives it life. As men, we need mayim, to water, to have life. You go too long without water, you will die. All right. So we understand that water has the concept of water, blood, motion, chaos, mighty, deep, and we know it has the numerical value of arba'in, 40. The next Aleph Beit character is the Noon. Noon. Make that look good. All right, that's the Noon. So the Noon's numerical value, once we leave 10, all the numerical values for the Aleph Beit goes in increments of 10. All right. So the numerical value of Noon is 50. So let me ask a question. All right. Let's make this a little interactive right now. We learned that Arba was 4. Mem, which has the numerical value of 40, represented, was pronounced Arba'in. So knowing that we know 1 through 10, because we went over them. So I pray that you have retained that. And if you didn't, that's okay. That's why we study. So anybody on the conference call right now, anybody tell me with the numeric, how you would say the numerical value of 50? Don't be shy. Just remember how you say 5, all right? And then add something to that. The Noon, 50. Who got it? How you say it? Y'all know it. I know everybody's had their ginkgo biloba today. Or they burdock root. Or they bladderwrack. Or they sea moss. Come on. Let's get those, let's get that central nervous system working, get those neurons firing. Let's get that cognitive function thriving the way the Most High gave it to us to thrive. Come on. Emmanuel, Akid, or Akidawi.
That Shamshishi?
You said Shemshishi?
Is that Shamshishi?
All right, so that's close. So remember, 5 is Hamesh. All right. So now, if you notice the pattern so far, 20 was Esrim, 30 was Shloshim, 40 was Arba'im. So 50 is following along the same concept. Hamesh Im. So you was close. You was close. You right there. You know what I'm saying? You right on track. It's just kind of remembering the pattern. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, our language is not overly complex. It's just we have to break through certain mental paradigms to really realize that we have the mental faculties to learn our language, to learn anything the Creator puts on our heart, on our ruach, on our lev, which is heart, to learn. We just have to believe. So that was close. You know what I'm saying? I'm proud of that. That's good. So remember, the theme that when I studied it, the theme that I learned from once you got into the double digits, like 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, you're really just adding the yod mem sofit at the end of the word. So you're adding like in to the end of the word to make the plurality of it. So in this instance, you're adding the in to take Hamesh from 5 to Hamshim 50. Okay, tracking? All right. So let's so noon, that was the numerical value. All right, the pictograph is the pictograph of a seed, right? All right, I'm not left-handed, so I'm gonna do my best. So like a seed. So most people will look at that and think of sperm or semen, right? Yes, because the mailman was given seed to procreate, and the woman, her function was to incubate that seed to bring forth life. So from an agriculture, that is from our be fruitful and multiply concept. All right. And yes, I know some people say, well, that also applies to other things too. It does. But in the first instance, it was to be fruitful and multiply, to replenish the earth, fill the earth. All right. So that is that. Now, from a cultural perspective as well, this will represent like an agricultural seed, right? We put the seed in the ground, right? Now, this concept is very important. So we put the seed in the ground, right? We bury it. Then we cover it up. We pick up our cross and follow Hamashiach. We pick up our stake and follow Hamashiach. We buried ourselves first. It takes root, all right? Once it takes root and it's on solid foundation, it begins to sprout and bring forth a tree. That tree grows, cultivates. Wow, I'm drawing left-handed. Hey, Aki, I hope y'all can see me on here drawing left-handed. Y'all should be very proud because I'm definitely right-handed all day. Working on being ambidextrous. So then that brings forth a tree, which bears its fruit.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So that's the concept of a seed, and that's the same concept of us being fruitful and multiplying. Allowing the seed of life that was given to us, or the seeds of gifting that was given to us by the Most High, to be buried, take root in Him and in His Word and in His purpose for the function of that gift, grow as a tree, blossom, bear its fruit, so that the marketplace can come and get your fruit that you're going to serve to the world. So the seed has so many symbolic representations. So we see that from the agricultural perspective. We see that from the reproductive perspective. We see the seed from the allowing the gifting and the purpose that you were birthed with to take root after it's been buried, right? Take root, build it, be on a strong foundation, blossom, bear its fruit, and serve its gift to the world. So we see that concept with the seed continuously. All right, so let me. Aisha here right now, and I don't know where she put the eraser, so the finger is going to do it today. All right. So the next Aleph Beit character is the. Can anybody guess? I know it looks like a big circle, but it is a Nun. Sorry, so look at Nun Samek. Samek. All right. The numerical value of the Samek, we said Nun was what, 50? So the Samek is 60. And you would pronounce that Shashim. Because Shesh is 6. Shin. Right? 6. So Shashim is Shesh Yod Mem Sofi. All right. So the concept of Samek. All right. There's been a few different thoughts behind that. Some call the Samek the sin or the Sin, which we will learn down in the Shin Sin. Some use the Sin or the Sheen as the Samek. A few different opinions and sources that say something slightly different. However, the Samek is going to be used as like a C or a sharp S, right? So it was a pictograph of like a thorn bush, like a thorn and thistle. It meant to prop, to support, to assist, to slow, twisting, to turn aside. Also kind of like a protective, like a barrier protective type thing as well, right? You can also use a thorn, as to knit together like a pin for the sheepfold. So it was also like another form of protection and, weaponry to an extent. All right. So as we move on, we are almost finished our Aleph Beit. So we're doing good. So the next one is the Ayin. The Ayin. All right. The numerical value for the Ayin, 5060, is 70. Right. So the numerical value for the Ayin, 70, would be pronounced Shavim. Shavim or Shavim. 70. All right. The Ayin is a pictograph of an eye. In its pictograph form is a pictograph of an eye. It means the eye, to look, to see, to understand, experience, knowledge, to be seen, right? Appearance, all the functions of an eye, essentially. All right. So this is a very important one as well. They're all important. So I'm not going to play one like one is more important than the other. They're all important and they all serve a purpose and a function because the Most High does nothing without a purpose. All right. So as we move on, we move to the pay with the dagesh. And then we move on to the Fe, right, without the Dagesh. So the numerical value for the Pe and the Fe is 80. So we get the Shmonim. Remember, because 8 was Shmoneh, 80 is Shmonim. So the Pe is a pictograph form of a mouth. All right. So a mouth opens, it's the entrance. It's also an exit for which you speak. For out of the mouth flow the issues of life. Out of the heart a man speaks. Right? So what you believe in your lev, heart or mind, seat of reasoning, is expressed by your words. And we know your words are powerful because if we were made in the image and likeness of the Most High Yah, he spoke and it was. So what's in your heart or in your mind when you speak is what will become. You have the power of creation. You have the power to create by the thing that you speak. So like, another prayer that we'll eventually learn, Baruch atah Yahovah Shavaot, Baracha Shemayim V'Haaretz, Elohim Shel Avraham, Yitzhak V'Yaakov, Eloheinu Kodesh Achad Yasharala, Eloha Vayishi, Nasher Natan Lenu Ha Ruach Baryah. The last part is thank for giving us the spirit of creation. And that is by the things that we think. Our thoughts produce our words or the pictures in our mind. That produces our verbalization, which produces our words. Our words produce our actions. Our actions produce our habits. And our habits produce our life. We live out of our habits. So there's habits we got to break. There's habits that we need to continue to cultivate. All starts with the thoughts, and those thoughts manifest itself in word containers or idea containers that come out as words. All right, that's the Pe. Slika, Pe. The next one is the Sadi. Sad, Sadiq, Sad, Sade. All right. So this is a pictograph of like a fish hook, right? Like a fish hook. The pictograph, they say like a man laying on the side. There is some agricultural fishing references to that. It also, some have said is also meant to be like a snare, like a man laying on the side to ensnare you, to entrap you. So it has that connotation, but it also has to pull forward something inescapable, desire, trouble, a harvest, righteousness, or to hurt. So you'll see a lot of duality in the meanings. Like I said before, the Most High's word is absolute. Depending on what side of his word you on is going to depend on how you perceive it. So if you in righteous standing with the Most High Yah, because our righteousness is to do all these commands that he commanded us this day, to keep the testimony of Yeshua HaMashiach. So if you on that side of Yah, when his judgment come, that's, you're not looking at that as a bad thing because you on the right side of him. But if you're not on that right side and you are in sin, which is missing the mark, Pasha, I think that's Pasha. You are in, avon, iniquity, all right, twisting or perverting the word of Yah. If you're in one of those things, if you're in transgression, which I believe is Pasha, I got to go back and double check that. That's rebellion against the word or the commandments of Yah. So if you on that side when judgment comes, then the things that he said is like a snare to you. But if you're on the righteous side of him, then that's not a snare. It's something that's to be desired because you're going to inherit the promise. So the numerical value of Sadi is 90. All right. So 90. Anybody else want to take a shot at it? Is Aki Dawid or one of the Akotis want to take a shot at it? We know 9 is Tasha. So 90 would be anybody? I think we're all silently saying it in our minds. So let's just let that like manifest itself into a word, and then that word will produce a verbalization sound, and we can hear it. Kang, hallelujah. Tashim, Aki. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Tashim. That's awesome.
Hallelujah.
Make me feel good. All right. All praises to the Most High, Yah. All right. So that is Sadi. So now we move on to the Kuf. All right, the Kuf. Look, give me 1 second. One second. Make sure I got all this right. Let me make sure I didn't forget any. So we got Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Va, Wa, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Chaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samech, Ayin, Pei, Fe, Zari. Yep. Zarik. And the numerical value of Zarik is 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Yep, Zadik. The man name was all right. So after the Zadik, we move to the Kuf. All right. So the Kuf's numerical value is 100. Right, Kuf. So that is, I'm trying to make sure I pronounce it right. So that is Mea, Mem Aleph He, Mea. Me'ah. Right? That's 100. Me'ah. Kuf, numerical value. Right? So the pictograph of a kuf, I'm trying to remember, the meaning of the kuf was like, pictograph was something like this. So that was one of the original pictographs, something like that, representing like the horizon, in between two lights, right? So some of the meanings associated with it was the was like behind, last. Let me see if I got any extras. Anybody else have any other known associations with the kuf and how it may be symbolically represented today? Anybody? I want to make sure I give y'all as many of these symbolic illustrations as possible.
What was that question about, right?
I was saying, anybody else have a like a pictograph understanding of the kuf as well? I want to just make sure we give as many symbolic illustrations as possible. So we we all can have a good overstanding.
Have sun horizon. Sun horizon.
All right, Kane. So you got some horizon,
Behind.
or behind, or time, something like that.
Okay.
Also got circle too. Also got circle too. So yeah, sun at the horizon, behind, circle, time, some of those concepts. All right. So those are some of the concepts that are associated with the word poof, poof, poof. All right. Almost there. Almost there. Okay, so after the kuf, we move on to the resh. All right, moving on to the resh. Rash, ra. So the resh has the numerical value of 200. All right, so remember, once we got to esre, all right, once we got to esre, anybody remember what that one was? What number that represents in English? Before I tell you.
200.
Nah, no. Ser. So I was saying that the number 10 represented, I'm just trying to give a quick backdrop just so we can remember. So once we went from 0 to 10, right, we moved to ser, all right? Then once we went past 10, the incremental values went, 11 to 20. Once we got to 20, the incremental values jumped from just singles to tens. So when we get 20, esrim, then it jumps to 30. In terms of the numerical value with the Aleph Beit characters. Now, obviously, there's ways to say like 21. But for Aleph Beit purposes, this is not that lesson. So as we jumped, as we got to 20, our numerical values went, to 30, to 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. Then we got to 100, right?
Right. That is 200.
So now it's jumping to 200, okay? So the resh is the pictograph of a man's head. All right. The resh is a pictograph of a man's head. It means head, person, first. What is the highest? One of the most important, chief, leader, things of those nature. All right. That's some of the symbolic concepts associated with that. All right. Let's finish up so we can, I'm gonna go through these last two quick so we can get to our lesson and then go over the first part of the Yahweh's prayer, tefillot, and go from there. And then we'll call it a night because I know everybody wants to enjoy a long night of rest from a very long week. All right. So the next pictograph symbol is the shin with the dagesh on the right. On the right leg of the shin makes it the sh sound. If it's on the left leg of the shin, it makes the sin or seen. So it makes the S sound and not the sh sound if the dagesh dot on the left. The numerical value is 300. It's the pictograph of like two front teeth, meaning to devour, to consume, to eat. Number 2, to destroy something, sharp, or simply just teeth. The last one is the ta, or tav. Its numerical value is 400. All right. It is the pictograph of it's like two sticks crossing. Like a sign, right? X marks the spot. So, Nevkar, in what year is that other, I believe it was an eclipse that's going to come from the opposite direction this time and make like a big bullseye X on the Earth? What year is that supposed to happen in?
April 2024.
April 20, 2024. April 20th, 2024. And that's a, what is that? That's like an eclipse?
James, that will be the eclipse that will cross the opposite side, making an X. Tav across America.
All right. Well, TV land, I hope y'all heard that. April 20th, 2024. The eclipse is going to come across the opposite side that the other one came across, making a giant X, a tav or tav across America. So that'll be pretty interesting. See what happens. All right. So that means the pictograph form is a mark, a sign, a cross, a seal, sometimes covenant, ownership, together, last, etc. All right. So, hallelujah. We have just completed our Hebrew Aleph Bet. Took a lot longer than I anticipated. However, I want to still go over the other lesson. We'll just touch one, and then we will talk about the prayer, and then that will be it for the night. So, just a quick recap of what we did last week. 1 second. Everybody okay? Everybody good? Y'all checking? Y'all all right?
James.
Y'all learned it. Hopefully it wasn't too overly redundant. Hopefully y'all learned something. I pray the Most High opened up some enlightenment and edification to you all as he continues to do that to me as I study our language. So let's talk about these vowel points real quick. All right. So we learned, let's do the vowel points. Last week, we learned about, and I'm going to use the aleph as a place marker. All right. So we learned the kamats.
Is he like sharing?
Can y'all see? I mean, I ain't writing it. I ain't showing y'all yet, but kamats, pata, all right. We also went over the single dot, which is the kharik. I think we only did 4. All right. So last week we went over some of the vowel points that will be associated with the Aleph Bet. They're called nakudots, nakud for singular. All right. The first one, that looks so sloppy. Slovakia. Okay, so this you see the olive, all right? If you see the little T under it, that is the kamats. Pronounced ah like av or abba, father. The other one that makes the ah sound is the dash underneath. All right. It is pronounced pata, ah, as in av or father. The other one we learned last week was the single nakud underneath of the letter. All right. And that was pronounced harik, harik, E as in B. All right. Harik, E as in B. The other nakud, let me not do that. That looks like a frowny face. All right. The other nakud was two horizontal dots, and that was the sare, sare as in gray. All right. So please refresh yourself with these. Kamats, pata, harik, sare. All right. We also learned two vocabulary words, the me, mem, and yod, which gave you the word who. We learned m, which was mother. We learned some sentences like me ba. Ba means came. Ba means came in the masculine. So like me ba, who came? Question. Or if you want to be a little more specific, you could say avi ba, my father came. We also learned that the yod as a suffix gives us the added understanding of me or my. Right? Y'all tracking? Of me or my. We learned Av last week, father. We also learned ba, which was came, and we got a sentence. Av ba, father came. All right, third lesson. So now we know the aleph bet. All right. So I'm going to give you three consonants. Right to left. All right, so what I'm going to have you do is this. I'm going to have you tell me what these consonants are. All right, so I also threw a nice little trick one in here in the middle. It is a sophete. We haven't got much into the sophetes. However, I want to introduce it to you now. All right, so anybody starting at the top. Come on, somebody.
Is the top one noon?
Came. All right, what's the middle one, Aki? Give it a shot. I know we ain't go over it. It's just a feat. So it's a fun. So this one is a. All right. So the top. You said a tav. So remember, your tav is going to look like this. I'm gonna put it to the right of it.
Okay.
So remember, your tav is going to look like this, right? It's going to have that little foot to the right of it. So this is a final sophete. So this is actually a noon sophete. So how you're going to know it's a sophete is one, there are several sophetes that actually extend past the line, right? So that's why I drew the line there, because there's some sophetes that extend past it, which gives you an understanding that it is a final letter. So the Zadik Sofit extends past it. The Kaf Sofit extends past it. What's that? Nun Sofit, Kaf Sofit, Zadik Sofit. Then you got Mem Sofit. Mem doesn't extend past it. Mem, and then the other one was, what's the other one? Give me 1 minute. Make sure it's right for y'all. Kaf Sofit, Nun Sofit, Fe Sofit, and Sadik Sofit. Those four, 1, 2, 3, 4. Those four extend past the line. So might as well learn that right now. Then ain't no point to waste time. Got to learn this stuff. Learn the language. So your Sofits. All right, Kaf Sofit. We already got Nun Sofit, so I'm not gonna redo that one again. All right. Fe Sofit. Now listen, with the Fe Sofit, right? Even if it has a dagesh, it's never going to be Pe Sofit. All right, it's always going to be Fe, pronounced Fe, like PH or F. And then this is the Zadik, or Zadik, Sofit. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. So here's your Sofits. All right, so y'all tracking. You have the Nun Sofit. All right, let me erase the Tav. You have the Nun Sofit. Now listen, when it comes to the Sofits, right? Don't allow the changing of their appearance throw you off. The way you pronounce it is still the same. The reason they have this Sofit is basically to let you know that this is a final letter. This is it. Boom. So the Haf Sofit is like that, and it extends past the line. The Fe Sofit is that little fish hook, kind of like the Fe, but it has a fuller extension. The Sadik Sofit is the same, pretty much the same, but it extends past the line. So let me draw there what it looks like in its normal state so you can have a comparison. Sadik. Okay. And then this one is Chaf. All right. Chaf in its normal state, Fe in its normal state, Sadik in its normal state, Nun in its normal state. So you just see these four just have an extension. All right. This one is the only one that looks really different. These two look pretty similar, just an extension. And these two look similar, just an extension. The last Sofit that you'll have is a Mem Sofit. All right. The last one you'll have is a Mem Sofit. So it just looks like a box, honestly. A box with a little extended hook at the top. This is the Sofit. And then this is going to be traditional Mem. All right. Traditional Mem. That looks bad. Traditional Mem. Mem Sofit. See that little hook? All right. So don't get confused. If you see that little box with the hook, that's a Mem Sofit. You still pronounce it like Mem. M. All right. So, for sake of time and respect for you all, I'm going to just go through these really quickly. All right. So this is Nun. Nun Sofit, Hey. All right. Nun Sofit, Hey. So let's go over a quick vocab that's going to go with this. Because remember, like I said, we got to learn the language. So we learn the words, the Ivryt characters. From the Ivryt characters, now we get a chance to put some characters together to formulate words, and then we'll formulate sentences. All right. So the first vocab I will give you. All right, write these down. Aleph. All right. Noon. Yod. Aleph, Noon, Yod. Under the Aleph, you're going to write a kamat. So before I show you, you should be writing this down so that you can actually practice trying to write it yourself. Aleph, kamat as the vowel point. Remember, our language follows a simple consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel, consonant, vowel pattern. All right. So then Noon, and then Charik, and then Yod. All right. That is going to give you a word. All right. I hope y'all wrote it. The next one will be Aleph, the Hare, oh no, Slika, Sare, A like in gray, the vowel point under the Aleph. All right. And the Yod. That's going to give you a word. I'm going to show you all this while you're doing it along with me. All right. And then from there, I'm going to hold it up and see if you got the right word and see if you know what it means. All right. All right. The next one is going to be Hey. All right. Hey with the Harik. Harik vowel point under the Hey. The Yod and the Aleph. All right. Just going to give you a word. Number 4. Easy one. Bet. Remember, you got to put the dagesh in the middle of the bet. Sareh. Nun Sofit. I'll give you a word. All right. 5. Bet. Kamat. Aleph. Kamat. Hey. It's going to give you a word. So remember, when we're going through this too, as we continue to progress in our language studies, I want you all to realize this. Words are made up of a prefix, an infix, and a suffix, right? In the Hebrew language, we want to get to the root word, right? So that means in order to get to the root word, that 3-letter parent root, there will be times where we have to peel back the layers. So we have to remove the prefix, and there could be multiple prefixes. We have to remove the suffix, and there could be multiple suffixes to get to the 3-letter parent root, to get to the original word, because that original word is going to give us the concrete meaning. And then from there, we add all the prefix and suffixes back to understand what it's saying in its context. All right. 6. We got a noon. Kamat says the vowel point. We got a vet with the harik vowel point. We got a yod. We got an aleph, which gives us another word. right? And then lastly, 7, Sheva. So yeah, listen, while you're going through this all as well, try to remember the aleph date, well, it's like not aleph date, but the numerical numbers as well that we went over. So you've learned all of the alphabet and you've learned the numbers, and now you're getting some more Nakud reviews, and now you're getting words. So the numbers is 1, Ahad, 2, Shtaim, 3, Shalosh, 4, Arba, 5, Chamesh, 6, Shesh, 7, Sheva. All right, so Sheva, the word is, the characters is a mem with a patah and a hey, which gives us a word. All right, Mishpaka. I know it's late. Before I show you my words, hopefully you were able to write yours down. Let's go over them individually. All right. So number 1 was an aleph, a kamatz vowel point, a noon, a harik vowel point, and a yod. So how would you pronounce that word, and what does it mean if you know? Anybody? I hear somebody trying to say something. All right, I'm going to assume we having a little technical difficulties on the other line. So that word is ani. Ani. So the sound of the like suffix, the latter part of the word will take on the vowel point and the consonant sound. So in this instance, ani, the yod is the last consonant, with the vowel point under the noon being the harik, making the e sound. So the e sound in the yod gives it kind of the last consonant sound of ni. Yes, yod. So the word ani means I. And we all know that. Ani tov. You can say like, if I ask you, how you doing today? Shalom, ma shalomeh. You say, Ani tov, Torah, be'ata. I'm good, thanks, and you. You know, so just a little conversational phrase you can say. All right. Number 2 was an aleph, sari, and a yod. This is actually a question word. Aleph, sari, yod. The sare, like gray, and the yod gives us the sound of eh, eh. Like ata, ata, or at. Where are you? So the gives us the aleph yod sound, and the definition with the understanding is where. So it's like, where are you? Next, you got the hey, you got the chari, you got the yod and the aleph. Benaya, how would you Nefkarosh Benaya? How would you pronounce that? If you want to give it a shot.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Well, Marie, one of the first things I noticed was that I was writing a
What you mean?
So, like, because when you get the first word, I was like, how do you get that? But I wrote it from right, left to right instead of right to left.
You wrote it left to right instead of right to left? Oh, okay. It's all right, no worries. All right, so the hey with the Harik, vowel point, and the yod gives us the sound, and the aleph at the end gives us the sound of he, because this the harik gives us the e sound like b. So you were pronounced when you say he. It's funny because in English the word is she. So in Ivryt, when you say he, you're really saying she. So that's like that was a little different because when you speak a Western language, a Greco-European, Roman, Latin language, and then you go back to certain words in other Eastern cultures or languages or whatever. Like you'll think certain words mean certain things, but it means completely different. So he in Ivrit means she. So like he miod yofe. She's very beautiful. All right. So number 4, everybody knows this one, right? It's a bet. The dagesh is in the middle with a sare vowel point, two dots underneath, and then a nun sofit. So you would say that as bane, which means sun. All right. Number 5, bet. The dagesh is in the middle. Let me show y'all because I know y'all probably like, all right, what is he talking about? All right. So Aleph, Kamatz, Nun, Harik, Yod, Ani, I. Aleph, Sare, Yod, where. 3, Hey, Harik, Yod, Aleph, he, gives me she. Bet, Sare, Nun, Sofit, gives me bang, sun. Bet, Kamatz, Aleph, Kamatz, Hey, gives me ba'a, which is came in the feminine, right? Remember, our language has a masculine or feminine connotation to it, all right? So ba is masculine form of came. Ba'a is the feminine form of came, right? So he, ba'a, she came. So look, he, she, ba'a came. She came. 6 is nun, kamatz, na, vet, no dagesh. So vet, Harik, Yod, Aleph. Navim, Navi. Slika, not Navim. Navi, Navi, prophet. So if I said Navi or Ma Navi, Ma is what? Ma, and then Navi. So what prophet or what is a prophet based on the context of the sentence. Or Navi, where is the prophet? Et Hanavi, where the prophet. So as we begin to learn the words, we can actually start talking phrases and putting phrases into sentences. All right. Last one is ma. Mem pata he. Ma. Mem pata he. Ma. Right. So those are your vocabulary words for this week. All right. I pray that you wrote it down. Pray that you can all see it. Just getting one of the things that really helps is this. I got a notebook. All right. I got a notebook, and as I begin to learn the language, I write down phrases that I've learned. I write down words, descriptive words. We'll get into colors as we go. Like shahor, black, kahol, blue, right? As we go in there. And I've used multiple sources, not Yiddish, obviously, but just multiple sources so that I can begin to every day, The goal is just to learn a phrase, or learn a word. And then I begin to apply that. So then I'll start speaking to other people. That's the way you got to learn the language. We're learning all the, I'm not going to lie, that's probably not the funnest part. Learning the syntax, the sentence structure, learning about the nakudotes and the vowel points and all the consonants and everything else. But we got to crawl, walk, and run. All right. We have to build a foundation first. And then from there, we begin to grow and actually build it on the solid ground where when the winds and the storms of life come, right, like the parable, we can stand strong. So that is the reason why we're taking it, slow like this, so I just pray you all are getting something from it. I really pray that the Most High is opening some eyes and ears, just to get an understanding, right? So let's go over this. We're going to go over the prayer a little bit. All right. I spoke it for you in Ivryt, in the ancient tongue, not the modern post-exilic tongue. So we will go over we're going to go over the prayer, the tefillah, Yahweh's Palah. And all those on conference call, please put your email in the chat box. I'm going to have my Isha Shali to send you all a copy of the study guide of a review. We'll also send out Yahweh's Palau. All right. So here we go. Time to work. I know this is the part everybody been waiting for. All right. I'm going to speak it modern first. Well, no, ancient first. I'm sorry. So we're only going to go over the first line. Our Father, which is in heaven, holy be your name. All right? Holy be your name. Is everybody here? Everybody there on the conference call?
Dang.
All right. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All right. So our Father in our ancient tongue was pronounced Abba Nawa. Abba Nawa. Modern, we know pronouncing Father is Av. But anciently, we were pronouncing it Abba Nawa. In the modern way, it's Avinu. Right? The suffix of noon, yod, nu. Let me make sure I had that correct first before I tell y'all. Means to us or our. So, but anyway, ancient, our Father, Abba Nawa. Abba Nawa. All right. Which is in heaven. Shabbat Shemayim. Shemayim. Shemayim is heaven. Shabbat, right? Ba is in. Ba as a prefix means in. All right. So anytime you see that, even in modern, if you see ba as a prefix, it means in. So here, it would be logical to assume that Shabbat Shemayim, Sha as a prefix means which or which are. All right. So Abba Nawa, Shabbat Shemayim. Who wanna say that first part? Let's hear it because I know y'all got it.
Shalom, already.
Kang.
So is Cain, Ba, and In Ba the same?
Wait, say that again.
When we went over Cain last week, it was Ba, right?
Yeah, came. like you came somewhere, was ba in the masculine. So it was bet, right? Ba, bet, aleph. Let me do.
So is in ba also?
So in as a prefix, just the letter bet as a prefix. Doesn't he? As my study so far, it doesn't matter what vowel point with nakudo is associated with it. But if you see bet attached in the beginning of a word, it means in. So as a complete word meaning came, it would be bet aleph to mean came. Bet aleph is came, but the prefix of the letter bet or ba or be means in. So just remember it this way. What the root of the word is the word. The three-letter parent root, where the root of the word gives it its original meaning. But as you add more prefixes, suffixes, or consonants, it takes that root word and gives it either a more specific meaning or a similar meaning of another word of that same word, if that makes sense.
So basically the content that it used in.
Yes, for the word. So ba as a word, when you add two consonants together to get a parent root, bet aleph, you get the word ba, and it had the kamats under there. So ba, and that is the word came, right? So then if I put the word Shemayim, right, which is heaven, and I put the prefix of bet in front of heaven of Shemayim, I'm saying now is in heaven. Because the bet as a prefix means in.
Cain, I get it.
You tracking?
Cain.
Okay, hallelujah. All right. So now we got Abanawa, Shabbat, Shemayim. Abanawa, Shabbat, Shemayim. Our Father, which is in heaven. Quadash, Quadash. Holy or set apart. All right. So Abanawa, Shabbat, Shemayim. Quadash. Right? There you go. So you got our Father, which is in heaven, holy. So when I began to learn the prayers, I would take it like I would learn the one word first. So I would start at Abanawa. Abanawa means our Father. Abanawa, our Father. So then I would do it that way, and I would just rehearse the word, learn the word that is associated in English with the Hebrew word, and just kept going over to my mind. I always did it either 3 times, completion, 7 times, perfection. Right? So I would do that, and then I would move to the next word. So then I would remember that word and what the English equivalent is. As I did that, then I would do that 3 times, and I'll do that 7 times, and then I would add the 2 words together. So it went from just Abanawa and then just Shabbat Shemayim to Abanawa Shabbat Shemayim. Abanawa, our Father, Shabbat Shemayim, which is in heaven. And I just kept going over until I got it. So that's how I studied to learn the prayers. And then as I began to actually learn the words and then all the grammatical stuff behind it, I'm able to start just using the vocabulary I learned and put things together without actually just memorization. We want to get to know everything that we're saying, not just memorize it based on, repetition. That's a good way to start. But as we begin to learn it, especially the prayers, we want to know what we're saying in Ivryt from word to word. All right. So we now know Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodesh, Haya. Haya is the next word. B, Haya, B. So Haya is to be or to exist. Thus, when the whole big argument of the Father's name, is it Yahweh or um, I forgot what he said. What's the other one he said? What's the other? Come on, Aki, help me out. It's getting late. What's the other? The name they say the Father?
Ahaya.
Ahaya, tracking. Yeah.
Ahaya.
Yeah. So that whole debate, is it Ahaya or Yahweh? We're not going to get into that. We all read the scripture. So Haya, right? Which is, I want to say, the consonants are hey, yod, hey. Haya means to be, or to. It actually means to be, to make, or some say to exist. But in most of the translations, in most of the things that I've studied, Haya means to be or to make, to do or to make, right? Or some say be. So now you have Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kwadash, Haya. Last one, everybody, no name. We do everything for the Most High's name's sake. He does everything for his name's sake. His name is his characteristics. It is his image. It is who he is. It is the attributes ascribed to the Most High. So we all know name is Sham, or come on, Aki, Nefkar Rosh Mori Benai. You've been on this lately with the name. Tell all the souls online.
Say that one more time, Moray. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time hearing you.
So like,
One more time.
yeah, I was just saying, just let them know what name is. What's name in Ivryt?
Name is Shem.
Okay.
I can find the Hebrew Strong's Concordance number for it.
No.
Shem, but it means character.
Okay.
So when we can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I'll get some feedback. Hold on, let me see if I can fix this. Okay, is that better? Okay, it's better. That's better. Hold on. Let me do this. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay. So when we look at the name, the word name, right? That is Shem. I can look that up real quick. Hold on, give me a second here. I'm doing some different things here, so I can.
No, you good. I just wanted you to tell them what the word in Ivryt for name was, which is Shem. So in the paleo form, or the paleo pronunciation, pretty much the ah sound was utilized as vowel points behind each consonant. So when you're pronouncing things in the most ancient tongue, it would be Abba Nawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kwadash Chaya, Sham, which is Shem, name, Ka. Ka or Kaf represents your. So let's put this whole first sentence together. I'll have you write it phonetically so you can pronounce, work on pronunciation, and then we will give you the consonants on next class so that you have those as well. So, Abba Nawa, right? I could, phonetically spell that AHBA NAWA. Abba Nawa. Shabbat Shemayim. I could phonetically spell that SHABA SHAMAYAM. Kodash, holy, set apart, really means set apart. Set apart, QADASH, Kodash, Chaya, HAYAHB, Shamka, your name. SHAM K-A. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodesh Chaya Shamka. Our Father, which art in heaven, set apart be your name. That Mishpaka concludes our class for today. All right. Quick little brief recap. We completed the entire Aleph Beit. Aleph, Beit, Gimel, Dalet, Hey, Wa, Zayin, Chet, Tet, Yod, Kaf, Lamed, Mem, Nun, Samet, Ayin, Pe, Fe, Sadik, Kuf, Re, Shin, Sin, Tav. Right? All 22 consonants. We went over their symbolic pictograph meanings. All right. So now, as you dive into the word of the living Yah, you can begin to get an understanding of the concrete thought that is behind each Aleph character in the construction of the word, formulating the phrase or the sentence structure. So it gives us an understanding of the Most High, so that we speak His word in truth. Cha'amet va'zari, in righteousness, right? The truth and the righteousness of Yah. So then we learned some of the numerical value. We learned all the numerical values associated with the Aleph Beit consonants from 1 to 400. We also went over some more vocabulary. So you now know, I, where, right? Ani, he is she, Bain is son, Ba'a is came in the feminine, Ba is came in the masculine, Navi is prophet, Navim is prophets, Ma is what? Av is father, or Ab is father, all right? And M is mother, Emma, mother. All right, so we build on our vocabulary. We've also learned tonight the first sentence of Yahweh's Tefillot, Yahweh's Palau, so-called the Lord's Prayer. We don't call him Lord because in Hebrew that means Baal or Baal. So we don't call him Lord. So we learned Yahweh's Palau, Yahweh's Tefillot. First line, Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash Chaya Shamka. Those five words, all right? For the first part of the prayer, we will continue to progress as we move forward, all right? Now that we have a comprehensive understanding of the Aleph Beit, the numerical values associated with it, I would like you to respectfully do your own homework and study that every day. Continue to dive into the symbolic meanings behind it, so that when we do word studies, we can pull out the concrete thought behind it. Next week, we will dive into the next line of Yahweh's Palau Tefillot, Yahweh's prayer. We will also continue our lessons from Jeff Benner, going over more consonants. I think we almost finished up all the Nakudots. Well, it's 13. We got a little bit more to go. We will start dealing with a little more conversational Ivryt, and we will learn more about syntax, Ivryt syntax structure, how we actually put sentences together in our ancient tongue. So now we will begin to speed up a little bit our, learning. So it won't be as, so much rudimentary. It won't be so much elementary, but we will begin to now really progress. So may Yahweh bless you. May Yahweh keep you. May Yahweh shine his face and his countenance upon you. We ask.
One question, Murray.
Okay.
Is the 4 vowel points that we went over them the only vowel points, or those the only ones we went over so far? Is just the 4 vowel points in modern Hebrew?
Lo, that is just the ones we went over so thus far. You know what?
Okay.
what I'm gonna do is this. Not to rattle anybody's brain, but I'm gonna just read off all of them real quick because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 vowel points. All right. I would have said 12 for the 12 tribes of Yasharal, but we know there was a created 13th for all those who want a good laugh. So I guess we got 13 vowel points for, I guess, an adopted tribe who wanted to be part of the family. So we have 13 vowel points. Huh?
I didn't mean to get ahead of us. I just wanted to know.
Oh, no. You good, Aki. Listen. So I'm gonna give it to you real quick. So we got the kamats, which is the ah. It's the little T under the consonant. The pata is the dash, is also the ah sound under the consonant. The next one I don't think we went over is the sigol. Sigol. It makes the E sound. It's like a 3-pin bowling ball. So it would be like this. Hold on. Dot, dot, dot. Y'all see that? See that online? Dot, dot, dot. That's called sound. Especially as it has a silent sound. It's a silent nakud. But as a prefix, you would pronounce it kind of like gray. So like if this was an aleph, I would say and then whatever the rest of the word was. Also as an infix in the middle of other words, right? This will become a syllable break. Right? So that means I will pronounce the word up until here, stop, and then pronounce the rest of the word. All right. The next one is, we already went over the rek. The next one would be the holam. So dang, TV land slick. It's crazy. I used to actually be a receiver and I could really catch. So anyway, so the holam is the nakudo at the top, and it's kind of like top left, slightly in front. All right, and that makes the O sound. Holam, thus the word holam. Then you have the holam mali, which is a nakud directly above the consonant, and that also makes the O sound, right? Then you have what's called the kubuts, which is 3 horizontal nakuds, right? At the bottom, it makes a U sound, kubuts. Then you have what they call the sharuk. Sharuk makes kind of like the U sound, sharuk, right? And that's in front, right, of the consonant. Then the last ones you have would be so you already know about the kamats, right, which is the T looking thing, T looking nakud. So then you add the sheva, and they call it a chataf kamats. Chataf kamats, all one word. So that is pretty much a T with O. Chataf kamats. Then you do the dash, which is the pata, and then you have chataf pata. Chataf pata. All one word. All right. The chataf kamats, it still gives you the A sound. Sometimes, rarely, the hataf kamats gives you an O sound. Most of the time, it gives you an A sound. The hataf pata gives you an A sound. And then lastly, we got the hataf segol. Remember, the 3 nakuds gave you the segol. So now you add the sheva with the sagol, you get chataf sagol. And that gives you an E sound. All right. So the 12 tribes, not lost, but scattered to the four corners of the earth. I truly appreciate your time. I truly appreciate you hanging in there with me. I petition that the Most High made this edifying to you, that you all, gained a little bit more insight into the language. We didn't dive too much into the culture today, but we will continue to dive into that because they go hand in hand. They're synonymous. All right. So that's all I have for you tonight. We will be signing off, and we will see you all tomorrow in a few hours for our Shabbat Seder and lesson. Looking forward to continue the fellowship. We have a work to do for the Most High. And like I said, I come not in my own authority, but I've been anointed by the Most High to be a shepherd and a leader of his people, to help train and teach them to do the work and manifest what the Most High has put in each and every one of you. I'm a man under authority myself, under the nation of Israel, and all Zakin of the Prince, Nefkar Rosh Mori Benaya, Imma Zemiria, and the rest of them, many Morim, Zakanim, scattered to the four corners of the earth. So I thank you again for your time. I pray that, this was a blessing to you. As I continue to learn, I will continue to share what I've been able to obtain and retain as knowledge and understanding. So with that being said, hallelujah, Shabbat Shalom.
Hallelujah.